encounters. The 1947 Twining memo, very famous among most of us researchers, nevertheless bears repeating, because I'm sure there's some of you who don't know what it was. And in a brief nutshell, it comes down to this. At the time, in the September of 1947, three-star Air Force General, U.S. Air Force, Nathan Twining, who later became the Chief of Staff of the U.S. Air Force, wrote a letter in response to another general, a query by this general, about these flying saucers. Essentially, the question was, do I need to do anything about this? Is this anything that we've got that I need to deal with? And Twining wrote back this very detailed response, essentially saying, well, exactly saying, the reported phenomenon is real, not visionary or fictitious. That's one important point. So think, classified memo, 1947, while the Air Force and the government's telling the people there's nothing to this, it's all hallucinations and so forth, war nerves was a big one. You have in the classified world, the reality is always different, right? So you have him saying, no, it's real, it's not visionary, it is not fictitious. Well-kept formations of flights, silent, evasive maneuvers when sighted, and my personal favorite, round on top, flat on bottom. Now, what is round on top, flat on bottom in 1947? Well, officially speaking, nothing was supposed to be round on top, flat on bottom. Of course, something was. Another of my personal favorites is the 1952 CIA memo authored by the Director of Scientific Intelligence, H. Marshall Chadwell, to the Director of the CIA, Walter Betty Smith. And this is after a very substantial wave of sightings in the U.S., so much so, military bases around the country were on alert frequently. Jet fighters or interceptor fighters were scrambled to intercept, all seemingly failed. It was an important time in the history of UFOs. And at the end of that year, in December, the Director of Scientific Intelligence writes to the Director and says, his boss, he says, sightings of unknown objects at altitudes and in the vicinity of major defense installations are of such nature that they are not attributable to natural phenomena or known types of aerial vehicles. How much more explicit are you going to get when writing a memo to your boss at the CIA in the 1950s? Well, not much. It is a bureaucracy, keep in mind.